Everybody. I want to welcome you to today's community connection. I am Dr. Josh with Well Chiropractic, and I am a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor. And my goal is to be your resource for other local businesses and providers through community connections. And so today we have Natalie Hearn, and she is, I'll let you go into more detail of what all this means. All right, so she's an exercise physiologist, core confidence specialist, and postnatal exercise specialist. She is born and raised from Anchorage, and now she's moved out here to the Valley to Palmer. Welcome.
Officially a Pomeranian, right?
Yeah, love it. And so one thing you like to focus on is moms being proactive about the recovery process. And
definitely.
So that means getting started before delivery. So with that, I will let you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself as well and tell us all what you do and what you provide our community.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie, as Dr. Josh said, and I do pre and postnatal preventative and restorative exercise. So what that means is that I will do in-home sessions as well as online video calls just like this, and the occasional workshop or class series too, in person. So you can find me in all sorts of different ways. But what I do is I work with people to help them feel more confident in their bodies, and specifically through the whole motherhood transition, as we call it. So even preconception through pregnancy and then the postpartum period, helping you to find your pelvic floor, find your core, and
Sure.
activate that and prepare it for all of the changes that happen during pregnancy, which there are a lot, and then the very physical event of labor and delivery, and then setting yourself up for recovery while you're still pregnant. So there are a lot of things that you can do that really can improve your experience, not only just during pregnancy, but afterwards as well. So.
And can you just quickly tell us, like, why is that so important?
So we, as a society, I feel like as Americans, or I mean, just in the world today in 2019, we sit so much in our lives and we're sedentary and we don't move our bodies as much as we should, or as much as our bodies were designed to move. Mm-hmm. And so that causes a lot of problems with tight muscles, for example, like your tight psoas muscles or your hip flexors. And then that can cause problems when you are going to deliver your baby, or you hear lots of moms say, oh, my back hurts, because that's just what happens during pregnancy. Or I have pelvic pain, or I have, the symphysis pubis dysfunction. I have Polly here to show.
There you go.
So nice. This is Polly, the pelvis. She's kind of like my mascot. I feel like she's really helpful. But this is your pubic joint, right? And sometimes that can be super painful later on in pregnancy. And so if you train for birth, which is a concept that we don't think about, right? Nope. So if you were to go into whatever sport, like soccer, right? And you're wanting to be a pro soccer player, you train to kick the soccer ball, you train to do tricks with the ball, train to make goals, and you run, right? Because that's what you are required to do. But for birth, we hear, oh, it's like running a marathon, right? And I guess something that I was thinking about is it's not really like a marathon. It's like probably a Spartan race, and then a triathlon, and then a marathon, and maybe some other physical event after. So it's incredibly long. You don't know how long it's going to be, and your entire body is involved. And so if we can strengthen specific muscles for positions that you might be in for who knows how long, then your outcomes can be better. You're going to get less tired. You can have that endurance and flexibility to deliver that babe. So
like it's
that was a long-winded answer.
Yeah,
but
no, sounds like a pretty important thing to take care of for sure.
Definitely.
So how did you get into this, and why, this is kind of a specialty, right? A niche there. So how did you get into that?
Yeah, so good question. I started out as a doula, and so I was assisting moms through the labor process, and would meet with them before, talk about movement a little bit, and then work with them through labor. And afterwards, they would tell me, oh, like I don't know, they would give me all these different body issues that they had as a result of positions that they may have done during labor, or like their leg was stretched way up by their ear and then they had a pulled hamstring, or maybe they had some prolapse after, which is essentially the descent or droppage of any pelvic organ lower than it's supposed to be in the pelvis. So they would have those issues, and then they'd talk about the mommy pooch, right? I can't get rid of my belly. I still look 6 months pregnant after I have the baby. And around that same time that I became a doula, I was learning to teach Pilates, and I attended a class about, restoring your body after having a baby, and learned that pelvic floor dysfunction, like leaking when you laugh, cough, jump, sneeze, any of that, and your mummy tummy, right? The pooch that you get is actually a diastasis recti, which is that separation of the rectus muscle, of that six-pack muscle. And I realized that there are things you could do preventatively. I'm not necessarily saying you can prevent all of those things, but you can definitely minimize them and improve your outcome for later. And then restoratively afterwards, you can do a lot. So that's kind of, I meshed those two together. And this is where I am now.
And so, you mentioned earlier, so you don't have any kids yet, right? But
I don't.
When you do, you will be ready for sure.
That's what I'm hoping.
So what keeps you going? What gets you up every day? Why do you? What energizes you to do this for other moms?
I think it's just the why. Like my why is why people keep coming back. And I hear moms saying, "Oh, I wish I would have done that, with my first kid," or "I wish I would have known that you could do something about leaking," or "I wish that somebody had told me about all these issues." And so that is a huge part of my motivation, to educate people right before they even get pregnant. Like, this stuff can happen, and you can do something about it. Or also the fact that people find confidence in movement after working with me. And so I help them find muscles they maybe thought they didn't have anymore, or they couldn't access. Like, oh, I had a C-section, I can't ever connect with my abs again. Or, I can't ever jump on a trampoline with my kids. Or, all of those different things, feeling fear of movement, find the confidence in movement after that is just like, brings me so much joy. Like, you found your glutes, and that's so exciting to me. So
Okay, great. So you've kind of explained a little bit of it, but what is your ideal client, like the moms or whoever it is, soon to be moms, or that you just love seeing? Who's your ideal?
I mean, all women, really. I'll work with you before you're pregnant, after you're pregnant, and 20 years postpartum. It's never really too late to restore. I think, though, if I had to choose and had somebody who was incredibly motivated to come see me, early on in their pregnancy or even before, and say, what can I do to really prepare my pelvic floor and core so that, 40 years down the road, I'm not considering surgery for my prolapse or something like that, and so somebody who's committed, who's willing to see a pelvic floor PT as well and get an internal exam, which is something I'll talk about too, and then do their exercises at home and feel empowered to move on their own, and not just when they come and see me. So having that self-motivation too.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Does that answer the question? I think.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of like to see everybody, but the one that comes in and, wants to be more proactive, kind of like you mentioned earlier. That's sounds like you're kind of your ideal, perfect, client, right? Someone that's coming in for that. So, you do a lot of things. You got a lot of titles on your name. So, there's other people that do pelvic floor stuff, or all these type of things. So, what's like different about you and your business?
So, I think one of the main things is that I will come to your home. And so if you're a brand new mom, newborn baby, and there's no schedule set, right? Babies don't have a schedule, and they don't sleep at a certain time, or they don't eat at a certain time. And so I'll come to your home and we can chat. And if you need to feed the baby or change the baby during our session, that's totally, totally fine. I usually teach with kids and dogs crawling all over me. And so that doesn't faze me at all. And I think that convenience factor also is really what what new moms need, because
Sure.
who wants to, you know, pack up the whole gang, make sure everybody's taken care of and has gone to the bathroom and has eaten and is ready to go and
Yeah.
sit for an hour at a session. So just providing that accessibility, I think, is one of the biggest things.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And where do you travel to? Like, how far do you go? I mean, you just
So
moved
I'm
out to
in,
Palmer, so
yeah,
do you,
yeah, I'm in Palmer now. So I'm out here in the valley, and then I go to Anchorage quite often as well. So everything in between there.
okay. And
Yeah.
okay, great. Um, so you wanted to mention a little bit about the PT and the
Yeah,
exam
yeah.
there. Yeah, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about that and
Okay.
kind of how you work
So
together with them.
definitely, I highly, highly, highly recommend that every woman see a pelvic floor PT every single year, preventatively, restoratively, kind of wherever you are in life, you need to see one, because this pelvis is the foundation, right above our feet. It's the foundation of our whole torso and our whole body, and it's what connects
Mm-hmm.
the core. And so all of the muscles between your two sit bones, pubic joint, and tailbone, it's a complex web of muscles, and there's way more than one. It's around
Yes.
17 different
Yeah.
muscles. And so I can see you move from the outside. I can assess your movement and your ability to breathe and all of that, and I can make an educated guess on kind of what's going on, because sometimes it's not necessarily that your pelvic floor is just too weak. Sometimes it's too strong. You hold too much tension in your pelvic
Mm-hmm.
floor. And so what a pelvic floor PT can do is they can go in internally and assess which one of those muscles is working too hard, maybe, or not working hard enough. If you're asymmetrically
Sure.
having different issues. And
Yeah.
so then once you get that diagnosis, so to speak, you can come back to me and say, okay, this is what's going on. This is what the PT prescribed. And not everybody can see a PT for the rest of their lives, right? And so then we can work together on exercises and loading your new foundation and those patterns that you're working on creating with your muscles.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So, like I said, I want to be a good resource for everybody here, so I'm going to continue to do this.
Yeah.
So, is there another business, another provider that that you really think that others should really know about?
Yeah, I'm going to go right along the line of pelvic floor PT.
Okay.
I know there's so many people in our whole birth community in Alaska that are amazing resources. But if you're looking for someone to work with for pelvic floor PT, I'd really recommend Melissa Sundberg. She
Yeah.
works out of the Nest, the Geneva Woods Birth Center now, and so you can call there or message me, and I can get you in contact with her. But yeah,
Okay.
definitely
Great.
highly recommend her.
Yeah. And so we're kind of coming to an end here. Want to thank you very much for your time and appreciate what you do and just letting everybody know. So we have another good resource for everybody. I know some of these things here, right? But
Right.
I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's really great. So can you tell everybody how we can get a hold of you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. I was really looking forward to this,
Yeah,
and I think it's an amazing resource you're giving to our whole community. So thank you for doing it
of
also.
course.
So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Trainer Natalie H. And you can also call me, email me, text me, all different ways. And I think we'll put the contact details in the comments as well,
Yep.
so that you don't have to remember a phone number or email from here.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, we'll put
yeah.
all that information down in the comments. And then just to give everybody kind of a heads up for next week, we are going to have Tara Elrod from Integrated Wellness and Center for Birth. She is a certified direct entry midwife, and so she's going to give us some information on what she does and what she provides our community as well. So again, thank you very
Awesome.
much, Natalie, and hope everybody got some good information out of this, and we will continue this next week.
Alrighty. Thank
All
you so
right.
much for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll see you later, everybody. Be well.
All right. See ya.